Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow tuners, wherever you're tuning in from. Welcome to another episode of Empower Stories. As we always say, mbele iko sawa. And today, surprisingly, our episode will not only be touchy, it will empower you, it will inspire you, and ultimately, it will change your life. Stay tuned for more.
About public school. Sasa tunataka kuangalia education system ya Kenya, that is the public school system. Is it really fitting environment? Does it really prepare you for the real world, the public education system? So tunaweza anza na Victor on the far end, tuambie what does he think will be going on this table, or you can throw in your views random. Yeah, so
okay,
Victor, unaona aje?
Mimi naona public schools actually azija prepare watu wengi for outside world, but there are some brains that are there. Yeah, there are some brains that are there. Though tunaweza sema curriculum yake most of the things are not going with the other schools like international schools which can actually throw you outside, but ukiangalia unaona kuna wale watu 1 2 3, kuna wale watu 1 2 3 wenye wako pale outside world, but mimi naona okay, to me inaweza. Yeah, it can prepare you for the outside world. Okay. Yes.
What do you think? What I think, just my piece in that before we can see as a contribute. Like kuna bado mismatch. As much as chenye Victor anasema ni true, but kuna bado mismatch. Tunapata there's a good percentage, yes, wanapata they thrive through public system, wanatoka hapa nje na wako competent. Wenye Victor amesema tu. But kuna pia certain percentage yenye wanafeel kama kuna changes tunafaa ku make ndio adjust na change
inafanyika. The percentage is too big.
So unaona aje, and actually Deacons is also good within this profession. This is his profession.
Mwalimu kan
tell us from international school. So unaweza tuambia
umekuja nyumbani.
Yeah. Tuambie unaona gani aje?
Well, I'll say this, that public education, it does play a major role for outward opportunities or the international opportunities. However, we got two systems, and these systems they can still intermarry each other. We do have the national system, and we still do have the international system. For instance, if you are a national teacher and you want to teach international curriculum with your national professions, like those certificates, there are things you can learn for you to be accredited for those international systems. So without these national proficiencies, it means that you can still not qualify for the international. However, now here comes the difference. I think the big difference here is the cost. Because mtu ataona kama mimi niko na mwanafunzi na kiwango cha mapato yangu ya kifedha ni fulani, so hii kiwango ya mapato yangu ya kifedha will only allow me to take my student or my child to that particular school ya national. Unielewa? Lakini internationally, kama una learn international systems, it means that you also have different friendships. Wanafunzi wenu watakuwa tofauti, marafiki wako watakuwa tofauti, different calibers, right? So every opportunity, just like in business, every opportunity comes at a cost, but we all have basic opportunities.
So you have given us your perspective on hiyo maneno ya shule, different types of shule, national, umepatia pia maneno ya cost hapo. I know cost education is pia ni expensive, so lazima kila parent pia na gauge kwenye mfuko yake inaweza fika, and the quality of education pia depend on how deep your pockets pia iko. So let's say with more money kuna exposure yanapata in terms of those international schools. Lakini pia kuna chenye Victor amesema that also public schools zenye ziko nazo within the public school systems before we go even into international and all that. Public school systems, I think also it gives you like the normalized society. So penye mtu ametoka kwa public school, if he's coming out of that system, if he's the best within that system, ni organic, si kitu ya kulazimishwa. Kuna venye pia hizi zenye ziko private, kuna venye wanakulazimisha ukue something that you are not. To some extent, not every, but to some extent. So, but let's tusikie what Brian on another side ama OCS another sema kuhusu hii. What do you think, OCS?
I think education system in public schools should be improved.
Okay. So they are good.
They are good, but they still have some limitations in learning.
Okay.
As now you can see the world is already exposed and learning has gone digital.
Exactly.
Like now we have an AI. So you find in public schools they still have some limitations. They are not even allowed to have a phones or laptops, something like that. And if you compare to an international school, those who are international school are going with how the world is going. Okay. You see, these are in public, they are missing something. So if the government can borrow some learning from international schools and bring them in public schools, I think people can be on the same page. Because for example, today, can you give a Form 4 leaver in the village a laptop and a grade 6 student in international school? A Form 4 leaver will not take that laptop anywhere. Because of those
things that are obviously when they are international.
Yeah.
So actually,
because of those limitations.
That's true. So just to interject kidogo. You see, chenye tunaongelea pia is not just how the quality of that education. Ni pia tunaangalia mtu akitoka hapo, akitoka kwa hiyo shule, anaweza pata njia ya kuweza kufanya vitu zake hapa hivi. To sustain, because I think the main aim of education is to sustain.
Okay, the two, if you bring them out of school, you bring them in the street.
Yeah.
The one from public school will survive than the one from private.
Yep.
There's another difference there. Because the life on the street is different from what was
taught in school.
Okay. But the guy who was in the public was like 70%. He was meeting these challenges on his education period. Yeah. While this one, everything was ready. Soft life. You get? So if you bring this person from soft life to hard working environment, automatically things must change.
Things will
but pia as much as association nasema hivyo. You know, ukiangalia mtu kama, let's take for instance mtu kama Jeff Koinani.
Even the other guy will survive.
No, the other guy will survive because unajua just listen tusikie kidogo. Mtu mwenye unaona anapatiwa thing na golden school. Ndio? Yeye amezoea kama ni systems zina work for him. Kuna mtu mwenyewe hajaipitia through hizi daily challenges lakini ameachiwa kampuni ana run. Let's take for instance mtu kama kina Mo Kenyatta. Huyo boss niko sure hajaiona shida lakini ana run a multi-billion empire yenye aliachiwa na zai wao. As much as it's still the wealth can still be argued but it can be ill-gotten. No. So there might be support systems zenye zinaweza fanya hadi mtu mwenye unaona amepatiwa unafika school baada survive, but pia kuna chances akirushwa tu kwa environment ile on the wild, chances zako za survive inarudi chini. That Julius Dabu tuambie ama Julius tuambie, what do you think? Unadhani aje kuhusu, do you think the public system yetu tunapitiana, do you think ina build say to the capacity akitoka hapa nje anaweza fanya something for himself and sustainable?
I think that the whole system should be scrapped off and be built from scratch, like the way China did. This system from the times of colonial times, before even the 844, was purposed for us to be obedient to the master. Like is some procedural based system. The Mwalimu, I don't know if you can agree with me, but you'll find we have many engineers, if you can't employ them, they become useless in the society. That's how people end up. You do a course, and many people have done course X, even being a nurse. I kind of poor pastor, you get. That course itself is not leading towards something creative that another fun, which without the master who is the employer, the education now is useless in the hands of Kenyans. I've heard you say.
So there's something you're bringing up, Apple, just to interject that. Because to some extent, people have to be trained.
Now the issue is yes.
Lazima watu watrainiwe. Because you can't just bring up a child without any training. Then lazima kuwe. Najua the thing is saying that the ideal agenda yenye ilikuwa ni kutrain watu for industries. Lakini sasa hakuna industries. There's a shift.
No. There's two different.
Because you see, when you talk about the master system, it means that there's someone you're subjecting to.
Yeah.
But if you talk about a service-based industry, inamaanisha kama ni mtu amesomea engineering, anaweza toka hapa engineer, aende afanye that engineering kivyake. So that is sustain. So is redesigning that system ama mindset ya watu ili waeze kufanya their own thing.
No, I'm saying, as specifically most of the third world countries.
Most of the
third world countries. You can't ask yourself why we are always behind. Not even in the engineering industry peke yake. Even in the health sector, kama ugonjwa utatokea sahi, we will be waiting for Pfizer ama nini. Kama the other day corona, we were just sitting back and waiting, and we have Kemri here. So the issue is the curriculum that we have been handed to. We don't question them. We need to have the government, if kama wako na interest of us at heart, of citizens. The curriculum itself inafaa kuwa revamped, all of it, because without that one, till the end of time, tutakuwa wale watu wa. The moment watu wanasoma about robotics, sisi bado tunafundishwa about telecommunication ilifanyika 19th. No. By the time watu wana catch up na AI, and unaweza invent kitu na AI, the world is already ahead. And that's where we rely as the system. And whenever tuko hivyo, the system, the education itakuwa bado still useless without the master. That's why unaona watu hadi leo wanalilia Ruto, kazi ziko wapi? But those kazi, Ruto cannot provide 1 million jobs to everyone. Inafaa kuwa tuko na system yenye inakuequip, ukitoka hapa nje, you are ready now to spot a challenge na to find a solution.
But you see, ukiangalia, as much as what you're saying is true in regards to the system venye iko, hiyo inaweza kuwa ni ukweli. But pia there are people who can argue otherwise that amesomea through the same system na amefungua biashara yake. Kuna mtu amesoma, because if you go to school, curriculum ya shule kuna business. The people do business studies and they come outside here na actually understand the basics of the system of how business works, anakuja anaanza biashara yake. Unaona? So kuna mtu mwenye atasoma engineering ama anaweza fanya some small physics. Aende akishamaliza physics hata kama ni form 4. Aende kwa hizi either in colleges. Alan kama ni mechanics. Akitoka hapo aende aanze kufanya biashara yake fungue. There are people who have opened like their own garage.
Just to counter that one, I'm saying those are the exceptional few who have taken an extra mile. We are talking about the system to cater for everyone. The few yenye unaongelea are the ones when you are curious enough, learned outside the program of the school. Ukisema hata mechanic, for him to open that business ama nini, he went outside the curriculum of engineering. Ama kama ni nasa ama ni nini, went outside that curriculum to search deeper. But you are talking about now bringing that solution alipata elsewhere to the education as a whole.
So you see, let's now come back to let's not digress back to the same subject. I wanted to hand over back to Victor, because I think all of you mko na your own proponents in regards to point Z. Victor umesema that education system iko a little bit complicated. Victor, you are saying something. We are talking about education system, and ulikuwa nasema that our public education kuna venye to some extent inafanya watu wako kama tusasana kwa competent, lakini kuna hii part ya hao watu wenye unaona Julius anaongelelea, unaona what is talking about like the other percentage yenye unapata kuna mismatch, anamaliza anafanya kila kitu according to the system but bado afita hapo. What do you think? Unafikiria aje kuhusu?
I think with those who don't still fit, with those who don't still fit, nikiangalia vizuri.
Ni shida yao ni nini?
Sorry to say, kuna wengine ni wazembe. Tukianza from that point. Si wengine wengi
ni wazembe.
I've lived by now this place we are, Nairobi. I've lived in some places where I do see young gentlemen, hao tunajiita Gen Z. Someone stays with the parents up to the age of 30. This guy is fit, he is healthy, there is nothing wrong with him. But this guy cannot do mjengo.
Anangojea system.
This guy cannot, he doesn't have any business idea.
Then he'll blame the government.
And yet, this guy will start saying that the government is not working, we need jobs. But even if you look, hata ukiangalia zile gari, zile 7 ministries, sasa tuingie serikali, zile ministries zenye zinapeana kazi. Utapata like sahi tuko na Ministry of Interior iko na nafasi kama tuseme 25 by now za security warden. When I checked the qualifications of a security warden, they only needed a deep lane and maybe some other experiences you have in issues that you need security or whatever. This job is permanent and pensionable, and this job has got a basic salary of around 17,000 and some other allowances, commuter allowance and house allowance and whatever. Okay. So these positions are 25. Youth who doesn't have job are more than a million. Are more than a million. And all these people need this job. So you tell me, how is government going to manage such kind of people? But what I think, another thing that I think is
ulikuwa unaongelea laziness kwanza.
Okay, hivyo venye nimeanza na mambo na laziness. Hao watu wataki kufikiria kitu yote. Tell this person, ende fanye jua kali iko mahali atakwambia ende fanye jua kali. Uliza huyu mtu ni biashara gani anaweza fanya, he doesn't have anything on his brain. Na huyu jamaa ukimuona hata akipata tuseme for example 10k now, kama si wale wenye wanavuta tuseme hivi mangwai and whatever, huyu mtu kitu ya kwanza atafanya ni either anunue luku ama kuwe na smartphone nyingine deadly. Anaweza pia akiwa ameng'ara, but deep inside his or her pocket hautapata kitu. Na atakuwa anapiga tu sherehe. Ukimwambia kazi hataki. Ukimwambia fanya biashara hataki. So huyu mtu ajitumi. So unapata kuna hii out of hii percentage.
Na amesoma.